that I was supposed to do. This was Carla's part, so forgive me. Paul,
it's all improv, starting now.
Oh God, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Very cool. Next up, we're going to Keith Williams.
Keith, how are you, man?
Paul, how you doing, brother?
Good. What
All
can I answer for you today?
Well, first of all, I'm usually the guy taking up all the time here, so I'm going to keep it short. All right. I'm going to drop a few names. I know Carla and Kale, just so you know.
Okay.
And but I was also talking to a couple friends of yours, David Escobodo,
Okay.
and Katie Shute, and we were going over their books, and I happened to have a copy of
look at that. Book. Well, very nice.
Yeah. So love the book. Love to talk to you about it. But there's two things I wanted to kind of quickly get your opinion on, right? You know, I believe in that improv is for everyone. And so with all the drama going on with the big houses, I want to get your perception on, you know, improv being an exclusive or inclusive art form. Here at Queen City, these guys do a tremendous job in making it an inclusive one. And the second thing I want to talk about is feedback as a teacher. I had a good discussion today about good ways to give feedback to players. So first, you tell me about what you feel about improv being for everyone.
I 100% feel like improv is for everyone. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, and I try to share it with as many people as I can worldwide, people I'll never meet. I planted a seed, and I'll never see that tree grow all the way. But that's really exciting. But specifically what you're talking about is so many of the big improv institutions having to come to grips with their sort of inability, or sort of so far their inability to address a more diverse population than white guys like me, right? So I think it's a big question. What do I think about it? I think it's a great idea. I think they should 1,000,000% be doing that. And I think that it's a lot of I think it really took something big like this of like the Black Lives Matter movement happening now, and the quarantine shutting everything down, where it's like we could all sort of like, we all step out of the stream of time for a moment, and we can sort of really look at things, right? And so now it's like, oh, okay, we don't have any classes running. We don't have anything going on. We can really look at like, what does it mean to have an improv theater? What does it mean to teach students and to perpetuate this art? And there's a lot of momentum of the old way that we need to sort of undo, because I think one of the tricky things, sort of having thought about this a ton and trying to sort of address it whatever way I can, is one of the tricky things is that because it started as like a young sort of white guys thing, then it was passed on to white guys, and and they passed it on to those people, and those were the people that were the examples on stage. They were represented on stage, and other people were not represented on stage, and so it kept attracting those same people. So now the people who have been doing it the longest are like people like me. I'm 53. I've been doing improv for like 30 years, right? So how do I now reach out to not just other people that look like me, but other people that don't look like me, and pass on what I know to them, so that the next tier of teachers or the next generation of teachers looks different than me, or represents a broader cross-section than me. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I've been thinking about a ton. When IO West closed down a few years ago, I started a theater called Revolution Theater, and I ran that for a year or so. And one of the things I tried to do right out of the gate was try to really I changed my philosophy from booking shows to curating nights, right? And so in that sort of little twist of an idea, I tried to really curate the nights so that the nights were more diverse, more interesting, reflected a greater sort of diversity of voices and faces, you know? And so, and that to me was like a big turning point for me, it just starting out doing that. And that made a big difference for the theater. I think it just made a big difference. And then also when we started teaching classes, I really tried to reach out and court a more diverse sort of student body coming in. The advantage I had was I was starting from the beginning, right? And so I had the chance to build it in a more sort of diverse way from the ground up, where now IO is closing down, but IO or Second City or wherever needs to sort of like disassemble a bunch of stuff, so before they can start building it again. So
is there pressure? Is there pressure? So you have to run a business, right? You have to fill the theaters. Is there a pressure there to have what would be called the best guys on stage, no matter what they look like?
Keith, I think that's a super, super important question, something I've really been sort of grappling with, because I do think it's sort of that exact question, I think sort of cuts right to the heart of the intersection of art and commerce that improv theaters are. It is the intersection of art and commerce, right? So what do we do? Well, I think part of it is that, well, I'll say this. When I was curating nights, well, I'll say how I solved it. I certainly don't have all the answers. Keith, I don't even have a fraction of all the answers. I just have a couple of thoughts. But when I was curating nights, what I tried to do was I tried to mix teams that were more known with teams that were less known, because I thought those lesser known teams should become more known, right? And so I didn't want to just put out these well-known teams that were maybe predominantly white teams. I wanted to sort of mix them and sort of like, well, maybe their audience should see this other show too, and they will like that when they're exposed to it. And also that other team's audience may like this thing, and sort of it's the mixing of it all, But I think that sort of we have to. Here's the thing, man. I think we need to put our money where our mouth is, and we have to sort of like that. That's what I think is so tricky about it, is that like these are businesses, and they're trying to like make ends meet. But I think we need to put our money where our mouth is and put together shows, curate nights that reflect the best of what's known, the best of the up and coming, the best of these of diverse populations, and we have to try. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna have some shows that like, oh well, they're good, but they're not this. We're not. But it's like I think we've got to try stuff out. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's a really important question that theaters are gonna have to face, is that intersection of art and commerce. And I think it's just like that question is going to get easier to answer as the student body becomes more diverse. Then those best teams, or those most experienced teams, will be a more diverse population. You know what I'm saying? But we have to take those first steps now.
So that's awesome. I appreciate it. All right. So it was great meeting you. This was awesome. Fantastic. I've never seen my team so excited about a guest like they are tonight.
That's very nice for you to say. Thank you. So nice meeting you too. Good luck with the coaching.
Thank you.